It's never too early to teach your kids how to count money. Son, you counting that money?
Yeah.
Oh. And you putting it all back together neat. You folding your money up. Hey, so a subscriber had asked me how much do I pay my drivers and how do I pretty much come up with that number and that system on how to pay your driver. So I'll just tell you guys a quick story. So with me, when I first started out in this business, I was hiring drivers that had less than a year's of experience because my insurance still allowed them to come on under me. So pretty much I would have to pay that extra money every month in that premium, because what happened was when I would add a driver on that didn't have that much experience, or if they were younger than I believe around 27 or 28, they wanted to increase that premium. So what I would do was pay more in that premium. So over time I had to get smart, especially being a businessman. Business is all about maximizing your profit, but also taking care of your employees at the end of the day. But also, like I say, as being a businessman, you have to figure out ways that you could cut costs and save money. And that's pretty much life, and that's business, just to keep it real with you guys. So what I started to do was set standards within my own company, because every day there's a lesson learned. And then if you're not constantly improving in life and in business, you're gonna remain stagnant in whatever you do. So if you made 50 grand last year, hey, 2019, you shouldn't be making $50,000. You should be making more than $50,000. I don't care if it's $55,000. Hey, do not remain stagnant and never go backwards. So what I did was I started to hire drivers that were over the age of 27 and that also had at least 3+ years of experience. So the lesson I learned from hiring drivers that only had 1 year or less of experience and they were under the age of 27 was that my premium was going to go up. And it wasn't just going up, you know, a couple of $100s. I mean, it was going up thousands of dollars. And I mean, that's thousands of dollars every year, you know, that I could be saving if I just hired the right candidates. So I started to hire drivers that had, you know, 3+ years of experience, and that was also over the age of 27. And also I started to hire drivers that had, you know, flatbed experience, because some of my drivers didn't have flatbed experience. I just was hiring drivers. And we all know when you start business, only thing is on your mind is making money. So a lot of people, they could care less on, you know, who they're really hiring, just as long as that truck is rolling, and long as that driver has a valid Class A CDL with a current DOT physical, you know. And I know a lot of people that just do that, and I did that too when I first just started out. But like I say, you have to improve your system over time, especially when you go through failures in life. So like I say, I hire drivers that has 3+ years. Really, I'm looking for 5+ years, but with my insurance, they said as long as they have 3+ years of experience and they're over the age of 27 with a clean MVR, my premium should never budge, in which that has definitely been the case, you know, over the past few drivers that I've hired, you know, since I've pretty much implemented this new system that I have. So I start out with my drivers, if they have 3+ years of experience, I start out with 23% of the load. So if that load, you know, pays $1,000, that driver will get 23% of that load. And that is a driver that has 3+ years of experience. And also I pay that driver 40 cents a mile for deadheading. So basically that driver will never drive the truck for free. So if that driver is deadheading to the next pickup and it's 100 miles, I'm going to pay him 40 cents a mile to deadhead to pick up that next load, which is $40. So that's how I pay my drivers now. I don't pay my drivers by hour. I don't pay them by mile unless they're deadheading. But overall, I pay them a percentage of the load. So starting out with 3+ years of experience, and they're over the age of 27 and they have flatbed experience, I start them out at 23% of the load. And after 6 months, I bump them up to 25% of the load. And then after 1 year of working with me, I pay them 30% of the load. So that's how I pay, and I could definitely guarantee you this. When I was paying the drivers starting out that they had under a year of experience, and also they were under the age of 27, I started them out with 20. And then after 3 months, I bumped them up to 23%. And then after 6 months, I had bumped them up to 25% of the load. So overall, I mean, like I say, with my system that I have now, the retention rate is higher just because I actually have, you know, truckers that's coming on with experience, and truckers that's, you know, older, and not to say that they're more mature, but I mean, of course, usually time with age and life experience comes with a little bit more maturity. So that's pretty much my system now. And like I say, after 1 year, my driver will make 30% of that load, still with 40 cents per mile for deadheading. And as a business owner, you want to figure out how can you pretty much keep your retention rate high with drivers, because we all know that drivers and the retention rate is very low, especially with a lot of big companies. Drivers, they're not working for you for too much longer, you know, just because they I mean, it's nothing to go find a trucking job, and that's the thing. And truckers are always going to go to the next best opportunity, which that's life. You know, even myself, I was in the military and I was making a 6-figure salary in the military, but I said, hey, if I go own my own business, I could times this by 10. You know, it's all about my drive, my determination, and my hustle. So like I say, you want to figure out how you could keep your driver retention rate high. And with me, I keep it high by paying my driver after that year 30% of the load, which is a pretty good amount, you know, for a driver. And if you guys know any companies out here that's paying 30% more, you know, hey, good on them. Hey, at the end of the day, as long as they're profiting, as long as they're making money. But with me, I'm pretty much going up to 30% of the load. And I could guarantee you one thing, my drivers have been happy. This is the first year that I implemented a Christmas bonus, so I gave my drivers a Christmas bonus. So you gotta, you know, figure out ways to keep your drivers too. You know, don't pay them, you know, 15% of the load, or, you know, max them out at 20% of the load, because trust me, they're not going to stick around, because they also have a family to feed too. So as a business owner, what we want to figure out is how can we still make a profit out of those trucks, but also how can we retain the drivers and keep the drivers happy. So that's what I do. I also pay for hotels for my drivers too. On the weekends, during the week when they're driving, they just sleep in the truck. But on the weekends, I pay you know, the hotels for my drivers, and that'll give them a chance to get out of the truck, you know, just to pretty much stretch out and, you know, just enjoy that hotel. So I pay for that. And also from time to time, I give my drivers incentives too, and I'll just give them bonuses for when they hit certain mileage. And like I say, you know, for you guys out there, you got to just figure out what's going to work for you and how you're going to profit when it comes to in this business. Because like I say, at the end of the day, it's all about just making a profit, but you also got to make sure that you keep your drivers happy, because like I say, at the end of the day, being a business owner, it's all about making your drivers happy. And like I say, I've, you know, been through a lot, you know, since I started this business, and every time I go through something, I just learn from it, you know, and when I learn from it, I improve the system. You know, I'm not doing nothing the same. You know, ask me 2 years ago when all of this took off for me, do I do everything the same? No, everything is totally different, and it's better. And next year it's going to be much better, just because I learned so much in 2018 that I'm not going to take in 2019. So when it comes, like I say, to paying your drivers, just ensure that you're paying your drivers based off of their experience, how long they had their CDL license, and also ensure that they have a clean MVR. So when you hit up your insurance for those quotes, that your goal is to not have that premium budge none. You know, you don't want your premium to ever go up. And like I say, when I first started out, my premium was going up just because I was just so anxious. I just was in a rush to get those trucks out there rolling. And I learned so much from, you know, rushing, a lot of failures from just rushing. So now I'm patient. I do not rush. And I would rather have my truck sitting, you know, until I'm able to find that right candidate, you know, to get in that truck, and someone who wants to be in the truck too. So like I say, that's how I pay my driver. Hey, so at the end of the day, how you go about paying your drivers is pretty much, it's all personal preference. The only thing I could do with you guys is share my experiences, share what I do, share my system. Whether you guys want to kind of emulate, you know, the things that I do, it's all up to you. Because like I say, at the end of the day, it's all personal preference. You guys are going to figure out, you know, your system. You guys are going to figure out what works for you when it comes to making money and in this business. So the end goal is just to make money and to also take care of your drivers, just because if that truck is not rolling, you are not making no money. With me, I'm just fortunate to have my own CDL, so I could get out there and make money when I want to make money. So I recommend that to you guys too. If you guys thinking about getting off into the business, is to go out and go get your CDL. So just in case if that truck is not rolling, if you guys don't have any good qualified drivers, you could get out there and you could go make some money. So hey, like, subscribe, and comment. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me at broker@mannystrans.com. And like I say, hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully you guys had a good holidays. Later.